Oh, hey guys, See the Geek here, back with another deck profile video. It's weird when I do these, I haven't done them in so long, but now you're getting two within a very short time frame. The main reason why is May is just a very cluttered month. Not just the holidays like Mother's Day, tying in the Father's Day closely behind it, as well as Memorial Day or Labor Day, whichever one it is. I can never remember which one it is for May. All the holidays, time off, it's starting to get warm outside now. Even in this friggin' winter wonderland crap state, it's actually getting warm finally for the first time since last year. Where we had like 2 weeks of no snow and the temperature's above 40 for once. There's a whole bunch of tournaments going on this month, is what I'm trying to get at. And there's very little time to do them, so a lot of the tournaments are being compressed into specific weekends where there's no holidays. So a lot of the tournaments are overlapping. There was the Star Wars 1K I went to, which I did a deck profile on. That was on May 4th. I think that was a Sunday. But that was last week. There's also Lorcana Store Championships have started for this month, which I already did one. I got my card, Hero Hamada foil. I made top 8, made top 4. Didn't get first place, but I just wanted the card, just so I have it, because I have a card from each store championship. There's also the Altered Timult Championships, which just concluded. That was May 11th, was the last day. I did mine on the 10th. I won that one. This is going to be the deck profile for the deck I played for that event. But we're still not done. There's another store championship for Lorcana this upcoming Sunday that I'm going to try to go to at the Sanctum. Just because I already pre-registered and everything, I want to support the store, especially now that it's open. I wasn't able to go, other than the first one, which was the Rockstar Stitch Store Championship. It was open. They closed it off to league players, but Ravensburger changed the rules. Now you can't do that anymore. So I was able to get in so I can actually play in the event. But I want to support the store and show some goodwill of not trying to be, I'm still gonna play to win, not lose on purpose or play a bad deck on purpose, but to I'm almost there to try to not let the other pro players have an easy shot at just steamrolling the event, by sort of kind of being a pro player myself, but in favor of the store, not against it, because I actually do go to that store quite often. There might be some people there who've never been to that store before who just want to win the playmat, which is the other thing. And those are the type of people that I want to try to, if you want to win the playmat, you're gonna have to go through me. I'm gonna make you try to earn it, because there's people who go to this store all the time who would love to have that playmat, who will almost never get a chance at even getting one. And now that there's only one playmat, it's harder for them to get one. And then there's another Star Wars event on the Saturday, which I may or may not be going to, but because it's like 2 hours away, and I'd have to drive myself. It's a long drive, but I have the day off, and I'm considering going. I might play a modified version of my Sabine in the City build that I posted on my deck profile or on my YouTube channel last week. I'm still working on editing that build, or I'm going to play the green variant. Unfortunately, I have to go back to that if I can't figure out how to get this build to work, but I think I'm onto something for it. Especially after watching the last couple of PQs, seeing some decks emerge, I feel like Yellow Sabine has a chance. Green Sabine's probably still better, but I think Yellow Sabine actually has a chance. It's similar to Quinlan, but it's Quinlan with more damage and less control, which still has a viable option at winning. But outside of that, this is the deck I played for the Altered Timult Championships at Odd Willows on May 10th. I know some things have changed recently. They just announced the suspension of, where is it? Helping Hand, literally today. You can't play this card anymore. They deemed this card was too good. It is suspended, so I have to take this out. So don't mention it in the comments. I already know this card is no longer legal. I don't know what I'm going to replace this with. but it needs to be replaced. But that's probably the best card in the deck. But yeah, I was playing Aphanus and Senka, who's obviously good. Whenever you play a spell, target character you control gains a boost. So this build is basically pretty straightforward. It's you're almost playing a half-half split of characters and spells. You need to have a lot. You want to have almost, not necessarily more spells than characters, but close enough so that way you always have a spell to match a character, so you can trigger Aphanus to get the free boost. So obviously nothing in this deck is over a 4 cost. Studious Disciple, so you have a 1 cost 1/1. He has a decent reserve ability, so you play him. Only 2 copies. Red, who is purple, as a 2/2/2, just solid character with seasoned. So she gets to keep her boost when she goes to reserve. She's useful. It's her and Sneasel Shroom that I play 2/2 split of. Sneasel Shroom gains anchored and gains a boost at noon. It was hard to say which one was better earlier in the format, but I think red is better because it starts as a 2/2/2. Sneasel Shroom only starts as a 1/1/1. It doesn't get anchored and gets a boost. So next turn, if the opponent doesn't get rid of it, it's a 2/2/2. But you want the stronger character off the bat, so I think red might be slightly better. So I may ditch the Sneasel Shrooms. Sneasel Shroom is useful just because it stays out, so that's like the one advantage, because it gains anchored, so it'll stay out for a turn. So if your opponent doesn't get rid of it, you have another character out there who may have contributed to your expedition the prior turn that it came out, plus the next turn it comes out. And obviously, because it has anchored, the boost, if it gets any from Aphanus and Senka or even Helping Hand, will stay on it. So it's almost like another seasoned character, but it stays out for the turn. Red has to go back to the reserve at the end of the turn. So they both have their pros and cons, so I couldn't decide which one to play over the other. So I'm just playing a 2/2 split of both, essentially. Mage Dancer, just the generically good card. I would play the rares, but I actually don't own them, so I have to play the common variants. The rare one is better. The common one's still good, so you can play the common ones instead. It's hard to beat that card because it basically is his ability on himself. One of my 3 uniques, I just play him as a 4/5/3. That's literally it. I almost never play him from reserve. He actually has some semi-decent reserve ability, so you just discard him. You play him to the field once for 3, and your opponent probably doesn't have it. Your opponent has to overcommit to get rid of him or play removal because his stats are so big. Just a high statted unique. Pomola, who's from the new set, 0/3/2/2/2, and a reserve ability that's useful. Just a generic good character. Deck filler. Ordis Trooper, my other second unique. You almost always pay the 1 for this. It's a 2/1. It's a 2/1/0, which is actually not very good for a 2 on a 2 cost, but pay the 1 to give yourself 2 boosts, which is kind of ridiculous just for 1 extra mana. And that's from hand or reserve, which is also really strong, which essentially means that it's a 4/3/2 each time it comes out, as a slightly lower cost character. Super strong character, low cost is something that Yzmir desperately needs and wants to have, is something like that. And then my third unique, which is Ada Lovelace, another fairly high statted 2/2, but it does have a useful ability. You may return a card from your reserve to your hand, which can be useful in Yzmir, especially if you have like a off you go in reserve, because it's 4 in reserve but 2 from hand. You want that back in hand to play it. Also lets you essentially reset a card to skip it from having fleeting, so you can play it again. You may put a card from your hand in reserve. If you do, target character gains a boost. So it also has a reserve ability that you can trigger sometimes to give another boost to a person, which is useful for this build of Yzmir. And then last 2, 2 Tooth Fairies, because the stats are bad, but it has Sabotage. You kind of need to have some Sabotage in the format. And then Baba Yaga, play it from hand, draw a card. Decent statted for what it is, for even a bonus effect from hand. So, and obviously the Ordis version got banned, but the Yzmir version is still legal. So there you go. That shows how good that card is. And then the spells. there aren't a whole lot of like super great spells, but you play them because they trigger FNS, so you have to play low cost ones. There are some high cost ones in here that you can't really avoid to play. Rhyme Frost is a 1/2, just exhaust target card in reserve. Just a very generic low cost spell that you can just spam out there to trigger Alphaness, or even the Cardigan Mage. I wish there were better cards to play, but there really aren't, so you play this. This is more so a deck filler spell, just to have another spell that's kind of like a sabotage, but not really, but can slow down the opponent. Until something better comes along, I'm playing Rhyme Frost. A lot of people who are playing this deck are. Helping Hand, I need to know explanation. This card is just insanely good for Yzmir. It's going to be hard to replace this card because there's nothing else in the format that's this good, and probably not even in the next set. There won't be anything as good as this for Yzmir. Beauty Sleep, 1/3, 1 cost sleep ability is super powerful. From reserve, not as much because you have to pay 3 for it, but it's still there as an option if you need it. I think I was playing Acapella Training, but this just not as good to give a person fleeting. I'd rather just sleep them. Not let them stay on the board, just turn off their stats is super useful. So you play this one. Magical Training, only playing 2 of it. Draw a card. Upstart Goblin and Altered. The rare version, the reserve cost is only 2. The common version, I think the reserve cost is 3, which is a lot less appealing. You'd easily pay one or even 2 for this. 2 is not bad to play for this, especially into mid to late game when you have the extra mana and you don't have anything else to do. I would play 3, but you're limited to 15 rares. But now with Helping Hand gone, I'll probably pay 3 copies of this moving forward. Off You Go, I mentioned before. This is a great removal spell. Actual removal spell, probably one of the best Yzmir has. Only playing 2 copies, and in the common. It's the one instance where I think the rare version is actually worse than the common one. I don't think the rare version is very good, just for that higher ceiling. I think it can hit 4 or less, or 5 or less, but I don't think that's necessary. Off You Go is good enough at 3, because most people aren't playing those high-costed characters, because the game just isn't designed like that right now, unfortunately. High-cost characters are still good, they're just not viable in the format where it's really fast. You want to spam out low-cost guys just to win your expedition. So that speaks more so to the game design and the devs. They need to design stronger high-cost characters that make us want to play them. They need to have immediate board impact for their costs. And they probably need to start at 4 or 5 costs, because right now no one's really even playing anything above 5, realistically. And if they are, it's not a character, it's probably a spell. But that just shows how the game is at the current moment. Moth to a Flame, this is probably the next best card in the deck next to Helping Hand. They got suspended. Common version, once again, I think common version is decent enough opposed to the rare version. Cooldown, so it goes to reserve exhausted, but make a 2/2 Moth Illusion and target expedition. That's just good. It's good at any stage of the game. Even turn 1, you could just play this. It'll still trigger Alphaness. The Moth will get the boost, and it'll be a 3/3/3. Because it's a spell, not a character, it always feels bad for the opponent to try to get rid of it if it's just too beefy, if it's too strong, because it was a free card from a card. And the reserve cost being a 2 is also just really, really good. Even though you can't use it right away. Sometimes, because I know there's a character that lets you play it exhausted, but a 3/2 that just makes it a 2/2/2 is super strong. I think only Yzmir really has this, I believe. Another color might have it, but I don't know who has the rare shifted version of this. But just really strong card. Probably the best card for Yzmir out of the new set is this card, because every Yzmir deck is going to be playing 3 of this moving forward until it also gets suspended, probably, maybe. Yeah, it's just a really, really good card, and just too useful to just put essentially a 2/2/2 or a 3/3/3 in an expedition that you want on a 3 cost or a 2 cost, since it gets the double duty, because you can play it from reserve the next turn if it doesn't get hit. or sabotaged. Very strong card. And then wrapping up the deck list, this card who may get suspended in the future. Although they changed the rules for it, so it probably won't get suspended, but this card is still really good to just move your expedition forward and then just win the game. But now you have to wait till nighttime to confirm you win the game. But still just a really, really strong card. There's no reason to not play this. I only play the common version, but I'm playing 2 of them. I know the rare version is a 6/7 and doesn't have fleeting. So a lot of people play that one just to play the 1 copy of it, but I rather play 2 to ensure that I actually see 1 copy. Then I can reserve 1, because you only never ever really need to play 1 of them in a game. It's rare you'll need to play 2 of them back to back. You can, obviously, but like when you're only playing 1, it's less likely that you're going to see it, even in a 39. If that card's on the bottom of your deck, you might not see it. At least with 2 copies, you're probably going to see it in an average length game. The rare one, you might not see it until it's too late. So that's why I play the common one. I play 2 copies of it. Anywhere you can save rare space for this game is super important. So you want to play the commons if they're decent enough when you can. And then the last card is Freeze. Probably the best. The next best removal card next to Off You Go. Send target character to reserve, then exhaust it. This has cooldown. The rare version is slightly better. Actually, I don't have the rare version. It's a 3/4. 4 cost is like the top end for this deck and a lot of decks, and you don't want to pay 4 for removal. Ignore my Xbox. For removal, you don't want to play more than 3. And even in a lot of cases, 3 is a lot. You really don't want to play more than 2. But a lot of the 2 costs removal has conditions on it, like Off You Go, where it's only 3 or less. This will hit any character, which Yzmir does have an issue with big characters, that it can't really get rid of them. Very similar to Sabine in Star Wars Unlimited, that she just can't get rid of big characters because the removal options for her colors that she plays just isn't there. So she can't deal with big characters. So if the opponent drops, the what is it? The Hydrasena or whatever it is, the eternal plant dragon thing, whatever the name of that card is, I forget it. But like, Yzmir can't out that thing. Only thing you can do is put it to sleep usually, and that's not good enough because it's still there. So each turn it wakes up, you have to keep putting it back to sleep again, or it's just gonna win that expedition no matter what, because it's just gonna be so beefy and you can't get rid of it, and you're not gonna outstat it past the first turn. You just can't outstat it. As a 4/4/4, you have a chance to outstat it maybe once, but after that you can't outstat it as an 8/8/8 or higher, because it's gonna double each turn. So this is a card that will actually get rid of it. As a 4 cost, it sucks because that's a huge chunk of your mana just going to removing 1 guy. But removal in this game is really awkward and not statted for what it should be doing. Because the 5 cost can hit multiple characters. What is it? Blizzard or whatever it's called, Avalanche. Freeze at 4 only hits 1. And still doesn't get rid of it permanently, doesn't discard it, it just sends it to the reserve and exhausts it. So that's the next best thing. They can play it again from reserve if they really want to, but it doesn't fully get rid of it, so Yzmir just doesn't get to do that. The rare is better than this if you have the rare slot space, which now that Helping Hand's gone, I might play the rares of this just for that 3 cost, lower cost hit to just get rid of something that's annoying and too beefy, or unique that the opponent might drop on you that just is ridiculously statted to get rid of it. That's a fair trade. But this card is good. Bad stats on the common aside, it's still really good. If you have the deck space, you need to play this even at common, even with it being 4 costs on common. You still try to play this if you have any deck space, because your other removal options are not very good. This is the next best one you have to Off You Go, which only can hit 3 or less. So this can hit everything else that you want it to, essentially. But yeah, that's basically the deck. Obviously the changes with Helping Hand gone. You free up 3 rare slots in my build. I probably play the 3 magical training and then the rare freezes if I can get them, and that's an easy enough switch to fix up the deck and make it legal. I have to get rare freezes. Apparently they're really hard to pull from boxes for some reason. But there's other options. The next set's coming out very soon. You don't have the full spoiler list for that yet. There could be something in there that's really good or amazing. I'll be waiting patiently to see what we do get in that new set, because I'm looking forward to even some of the other colors getting better, more support, like Lyra, Axiom, Bravos. All those colors getting better support, so they can do better things or even more things. But I'll keep playing Yzmir in the future. It's definitely my favorite color. It immediately reminded me of blue from Magic, because it's very much like a controlling color, but it doesn't really have to do that. It can do a lot of other things. But it really reminded me of that, so I wanted to play this one first. But still have my Lyra deck. That's still my other favorite. So I'll be sticking with pink and purple moving forward in the game, unless they get like really, really bad, then I have to stop playing them. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully they stay decent moving forward, so I can keep playing them. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Kind of like and subscribe. Any advice, tips, anything on the deck list, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'm really only playing this game casually, but I am going to tournaments for it when I can. The scene is very scattered here, as it is in a lot of other places. There's really only one place I can go to right now to even play this game in events, until regionals or something else opens up for this game. Once Equinox announces it, I'm going to try to go to at least one big event for the game once they're up and running, just like I'm trying to do with Star Wars this upcoming weekend. Because I want to play this game more, but more stores need to pick up the game and support it. Go organize play to get people to come in and then grow the community, and then there's more places to play this game, because I think this game definitely has promise, a lot of potential. It's very unique, no pun intended, but they have a lot of mechanics that a lot of other games aren't doing that are good. Once you learn it, it becomes a very fun game, and still also very strategic as well at the same time. But yeah, comment, like, and subscribe. Until the next deck profile, whenever that is, I'll see you all next time.